Welcome to 10 Minutes With. It's a podcast for people who want to listen to podcasts but don't have all day. We've got a quick chat with someone you might be interested in learning more about in about 10 minutes. He's bringing his Love and Light tour to our area along with Jordan Feliz. Colton Dixon is with us. How are you?
Fantastic. How are you?
I'm good. You know, I feel like I've known you forever, but I don't think I've ever heard the story of how you became a Christian.
No way. I gave my life to the Lord when I was young. Christian home. I was 7 or 8 years old. The straw that broke the camel's back went to a private elementary school, and our teacher was teaching us faith-based Spanish words so that we could share Jesus with people who didn't speak English. That seems like a very hefty goal, by the way, at 7 years old, but hey, they were trying.
We want you to be bilingual evangelist.
Yeah, kudos to Franklin Road Christian School. Anyway, it kind of made me think like, man, why would I share something that I am not fully on board with yet? So I went home that night, gave my life to the Lord, and that was kind of the start of the story.
A lot of people who accept the Lord when they're kids kind of do it again, you know, where it's like, okay, no, really this time, Lord.
There wasn't another necessarily like come to Jesus moment. However, I feel like there were points along the way where my relationship with God deepened. And I feel like it just kind of reaffirmed the decision that I made when I was young. Like I would say the most pivotal point, although I was pretty anchored in my faith at this point, but coming out of high school, doing the American Idol thing, and then going into music, that was probably the most like, okay, like I've been around my parents who believe, I've been around all my peers believe, and now I'm around a bunch of people who don't. So it's kind of the moment where rubber met the road a little bit. But I'd known God to be real in my own life, and what he said was true to me. And so it wasn't like a huge thing, but it definitely was more of a like, wow, I'm no longer in a bubble.
You're so distinctive. You have such a distinctive look, distinctive sound. You go on American Idol. There's this element of fame. And then you meet Annie, who had no idea who you were. And that kind of started your relationship. Was that an important thing that she not know you as a celebrity before she knew you as a person?
Thinking on it, not necessarily. I didn't want to date a fan, or I don't know. That seems a little odd to me. But what was just kind of refreshing about it, I kind of felt God tell me like, hey, I need you to focus on this right now. I don't need any distractions. And that included girls. So I'm like, okay, all right, I need to focus on this. And then lo and behold, he serves up Annie Cogsall on a silver platter. I'm like, what? God, I'm confused. But it was so refreshing because it was just a normal conversation about faith, how we grew up, nothing to do with what we did for a living necessarily, other than us asking each other what we wanted to do. And it was so cool how kind of God wove that together and our answers to be very similar. And so I thought she was way out of my league from the get-go. So I didn't even think there was a chance of any of that. So I was just enjoying a great conversation with another human being, and it turned into more than that. And I'm so thankful. But yeah, it was very just refreshing and nice because at the time it was the height of American Idol. Everyone was watching. I felt like I couldn't really go anywhere without someone, saying something or wanting a picture. And so it was just nice to have a normal conversation with someone. And I'm glad it was with her.
You grew up around Nashville, and so the idea of seeing famous people just in everyday life, at the grocery store is not a foreign concept. Do you seek that now? Like, do you want to just go someplace and not have anybody know or care who you are, or is it just not something that matters?
To be honest with you, no one really does.
They do. They're just playing cool is what it is.
Maybe so. The hype has become less and less as I've gotten older, and that's cool with me. Nashville, you're right. Nashville is kind of known for that in a similar way that I think, being in LA would be.
But without so much paparazzi. I feel like LA and New York have way more paparazzi than Nashville.
That's true. That is a great point. But yeah, Nashville's pretty chill. Like you'll see Keith Urban at a coffee shop, and you're like, "Hey, that's Keith. Oh my goodness, there's his
Yeah, like
wife, Nicole. And holy
right.
cow, huh?" Yeah, it is nice just to be able to get around. And I remember when I was first dating Annie, we were out to dinner, and man, I don't know if an American Idol convention was going on down the road or what, but three different times during my dinner, I got asked for a picture, and of course I'm super thankful to have fans and whatnot, but it is nice just to be able to go out with my wife or with my family and just have, fam time uninterrupted. So we do enjoy that.
Let's talk about Love and Light, this tour that you've got going on with Jordan Feliz. I don't want to talk about the hair because I feel like everybody wants to talk about the amount of hair products that must be traveling on this. We're not talking, I know you want to talk about the hair. We are not talking about the hair.
That's fine.
Jordan Feliz is a little bit of a goof. I think I can say that, right?
Oh, 100%. And I love it. He brings out the goof in me. We honestly laughed our way through the tour last fall, the entire tour. We just laughed our way through it. And it was great. But the conception of this tour was interesting. I feel like it's something that's been on our radar for a long time. There aren't many Christian artists left still kind of doing the pop thing. So Jordan and I just made a lot of sense to do something together. But we were talking about what to name the tour, and at the time he had a song called Somebody Loves You, and I had a song called My Light, and so he actually suggested, he's like, what about the Love and Light tour? And we just started talking about that and what it meant, and I'm like, man, like how important now more than ever our world needs love, real love, not the fake love that people are searching for, but the real love. And we need to shed some light on what that is. And so we got deep for a second on what it could mean. And when we were extending the tour from last fall, we got asked if we wanted to keep the same name. I'm like, honestly, I know we're moving on to new music here, but I still think it has just as true of a meaning, than it did in the fall. So that's kind of what Love and Light is for us.
I like the name of the tour, but if you wanted to call it something else, you have a song called Build a Boat, and Jordan has a song about a river. And I feel like you could have done the Build a Riverboat tour, and that would have also been quite
Well,
effective. I
yeah,
mean,
the riverboat tour alone would have been pretty great. That is hilarious.
could you maybe do during your show an extended version of Build a Boat? Because it's such a great song. The worst part about it is that it's like so short.
Man, okay, I agree with you. It is short. And what is wild is I remember when songs were 3.5 to 4 minutes long and no one batted an eye. And then of course you've got like Bohemian Rhapsody and you've got
Okay,
song
come
and
on. You take one Maverick City music song and you can like drive, halfway across the city.
that is very true. But with pop music and even Christian radio now, I feel like that length of a song has gotten shorter and shorter and shorter. And now it's nothing to look on, the mainstream charts and you're like, this song is barely over 2 minutes long. What in the world? I don't love what it says about our attention spans, but it's just kind of the way the world is turning right now. So that's kind of why it's so short. However, we do an extended version of Build a Boat,
Yes.
and we're doing it just for you.
Thank you. I want to ask you something kind of weird because I'm not super active, but I do have TikTok. And I feel like a million people are trying to be you on TikTok. Why is that?
Oh, that's so funny. What do you mean by that?
Like every other day, it's like Colton Dixon wants to follow you. And I'm like, no, 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 he doesn't. You're not actually Colton Dixon. I feel like there's a lot of fakers out there. Why do people
Oh,
want
that
to be
is so
you?
funny. Honestly, they might just be trying to take advantage of my lack of presence on TikTok, which
Ah,
is a bad thing. Man, I didn't want to believe it. I didn't want to believe that TikTok is the new MTV. It's the new place where people discover music, and I didn't want to believe it. But it's true. So if I want to have a career, outside of what, the amazing things that Christian radio can do, or what touring can do, I've gotta start, spending some time and dedicating some time toward connecting with people on TikTok. So it's probably my lack of presence that there are so many people trying to be me on TikTok, but hopefully that changes. And just so you know, I will follow you on TikTok.
I think if you write a song called I Will Follow You on TikTok, it'll blow up.
Hey, that's a pretty good idea.
Colton Dixon with Jordan Feliz. The Love and Light Tour comes to North Syracuse, New York on March 8th, Edinburgh, Pennsylvania for a sold-out show on March 9th, and then Milton, Pennsylvania on March 22nd. You can find out more about all of those shows when you go to familylife.org. Did you know we offer a variety of podcasts? You can get up to date with Family Life news or enjoy family time with Family Life Kids. There's If That Makes Sense, a Family Life original podcast where they talk about what life is really like in your 20s. Plus a whole lot more. They're all free and on demand at familylife.org. Just click on podcast in the radio menu, and they're all made possible with the financial support of people like you. Thank you.